as you're learning all of these ways to optimize your videos, whether or not they're for YouTube, it can start to get a little bit confusing, which is why I always recommend a checklist of some sort. So I will actually give you a copy of this. I don't charge you for it, but I do ask for your email address in exchange. Hey Chamber Pros, I know a lot of us really want our first 100 subscribers on YouTube. However, we probably need some more bite-sized actionable tips to get there. So how do we do that? Well, that's what this video series is all about. So once you click on that Airtable link that I sent you in the email, you will click on copy paste, and then you'll probably have to make a free Airtable account, which again, obviously I recommend. And then you'll choose a workspace. I have two because I like to keep mine separate, but you might only have one and that's fine. And then you'll just click on add base. Once you've done that, you will actually be able to customize what your icon looks like. By clicking on that down arrow, you can rename it to whatever you want, as well as change the color in the icon. Once you open it up, this is what it looks like. I have chosen to create a sheet, or as they call it, a table. I'm using this whole sheet or table for a specific video series, but you could host all of your videos on the same table, whatever works best for you. And then I've organized it by columns. So first I have my general topic. This is pretty much just for what I personally would call them, so I know what I'm working on. And then I have a published date, and this is what I've chosen to sort it by because I like things in chronological order. And then I have a column for script. As you can see, I have not utilized this. However, generally your videos will be better if you choose to write a script for it. For me personally, I find it a little overwhelming, and that I prefer to at least just write down some bullet points, and that works for me. If I have to write too much, it's too overwhelming and I would rather just not do it. So find a workflow that works for you, basically. And then I have a checkbox for content recorded, because if you're batching your time, you can easily just go down the row and check all the ones you recorded that day. And then you can go across and mark the other things you've done for that specific video, but then you can focus on one type of thing at a time. And then for headline, you can either copy and paste your headline if you want this to be text, which is what I have it set as. To change it, you click that down arrow and click customize field type. This is also where you would rename it if you wanted to. Again, right now I have single line text, but if you prefer a checkbox, that is an easy one-click change. And then I have one for description. I would recommend using that to start drafting the relevant part of your description. I have also created a second sheet or table for, I just call it copy and paste. I have one for each channel basically. So this would be video specific things, but this would be for like a more series or channel specific. So for example, if I click on Facebook, I will copy and paste this underneath the other customized description that I've started. So this says, please like and comment, and then more video tips. And I have a link for a playlist again on Facebook that is relevant, whereas the YouTube one has YouTube links, but that just makes it a little quicker for me to copy and paste as I'm editing. And then keywords is good if you're trying to plan your keywords that you're ranking for. Chambers is not a very popular keyword, so I tend to struggle a little bit, but it's also still nice where once you have it there, you can copy and paste it over into that tag option in YouTube. Intro and hook right now I've set as a checkbox, the same for CTA, but for CTA, I've also added in a second column. That way you can plan out specific calls to action or other goals for that video. If you have a goal already in mind, it will make your video a little bit easier to produce. So for this one, this was the first video in my YouTube for Chambers series, and it was to ask. And basically my goal was to help Chambers get more subscribers. But if I had something I could upsell that was relevant, or if I had an email opt-in that was, again, specifically relevant to this type of video, this is where I would log it to remind myself to go and include that. And then again, just check boxes, edited and ready to publish. This means I've actually edited the video and I'm ready to go upload it. So I might actually edit multiple videos at a time before I go upload them one by one to a certain place. This is especially good if you know you're batching multiple types of content. If you're only just uploading a one-off video, like if you've just recorded an event, you can always just hit this blue expand arrow and it will pull up more of like I call it a card for that specific video, that if you wanted to, you could just go down the line and checkbox those. But again, in this case, I've got a series, so I'm batching. And then creating a customized thumbnail. I use the tag box to remind myself to go make sure I put tags in the YouTube tag box. Same thing for end card, making sure I added that on YouTube. And then scheduled for me is YouTube. You can specify that if you need to, because I do have separate checkboxes for Facebook and Pinterest. And then for Pinterest, I actually have two separate checkboxes because Pinterest only lets you schedule 2 weeks out. I probably edited these 4 video pins at the same time, but I could only schedule 2 at a time. So this lets me keep up with the ones that I've actually prepped and the ones that I've actually scheduled. And then of course, if there's other things that you know you need to do, you can add those. This will now be yours, so feel free to customize it however you need to. The point is just to kind of help you keep track with how you've already optimized your videos, and then your next steps if you have quote unquote free time to go back and better optimize your existing videos. So more of a self-tool, but if you want to, you could also train a volunteer or an intern to go behind you and re-optimize the other things that you personally didn't have time for. So if that was useful for you, do me a favor and hit that like button so I know, or if it wasn't, leave a comment, let me know why, or let me know what you still have questions about. I really want to put out stuff that helps you specifically. My goal is to help you grow your chamber so you can focus on growing your impact in your community.